whether you want it or not, whether there's war, whether there's drought, whether there's what, people still, they're going to eat. And if you can't produce your own food, you are in very much trouble.
So I was going through your profile, your Facebook, your social media, okay, Facebook specifically,
Okay.
and then I was actually struck by your bio. So you, so your bio reads as, your Facebook bio reads as, ever since I started selling knickknacks back in high school, I never stopped selling. I talk entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So can you just share more about your early days
Yeah.
and how you actually become to be an entrepreneur that you are today?
Okay.
Yeah.
No, thanks for the platform.
Okay.
I'm actually happy to be here. And I think my entrepreneurship journey really started back in high school. Because obviously maybe due to life circumstances, but I think entrepreneurship is just really something that that's in me. It's one of those inherent traits, I would say. So yeah, so obviously I went to a boarding school, and obviously my parents are not educated. My mom, she was unemployed, but obviously she used to do different things. Farming is one of them, and just also selling different stuff just to take us through life and whatnot. So
Yeah.
obviously by that circumstances alone, obviously I never used to get like enough pocket money. I just used to get like very little, $50, I'll say, to be specific. And that was how many years back? Uh, 12, 13 years ago. It was that long, you know. It was really not that much, but I'll say, obviously, out of that money, I used to now supposed to pay for transport going to
To the
school
boarding school.
and coming back, and also if I can buy bread out of that. Or, but yeah, obviously, that's how the whole thing started. I started just buying some stuff, and I started reselling at school, and yeah, it really started going great for me. It became more of a sustainable way of how to sustain my life. That's how really it started. I used to sell knickknacks, as you read on my profile, and I still sell knickknacks, by the way.
Ne? Oh,
It's only that I have someone selling for me, but yeah.
oh,
Yeah, so that's how this whole entrepreneurship journey started. After high school, I didn't go to, I took a gap year, obviously without my parents' approval, obviously. And I just really never wanted to go to school. I just wanted
the
to,
university like to proceed.
yeah, to proceed to university. I knew I wanted to study at some point, but I just really wanted to take a gap
Gap year.
year and just really find myself. Yeah, after that, we started a car wash business with a friend of mine.
Wow.
That was, yeah, I was just fresh out of high school, 19 years. We started a car wash. It was really doing great. It lasted for a good 2, 3 years. Yeah. Then obviously, yeah, I went to school and the following year, but yeah, I was still running this car wash on the side and things like that. But yeah, that's how really how my entrepreneurship journey started, I'll say. And yeah, I'm loving it. And here we are.
Here you are
Yeah.
today, officially an entrepreneur. So now, okay, coming back to MEPSA,
Yes.
quite an interesting name
Okay.
itself. So can you just tell us more about MEPSA? Like, what is MEPSA and what does MEPSA do?
Yeah.
MEPSA all about?
Okay. MEPSA MEPSA is an agribusiness. It's a food distribution and agro-processing startup that is leveraging technologies just to empower, or specifically smallholder farmers, to market the linkage, as well as just through creating that whole market for them, creating produce or product visibility and things like that. So that's how we are. In essence, we're an agribusiness. We're just now adding a tech element to it, just to see how we can um, change the how farmers do business and things like that. And yeah, that's how this whole concept started. And as I mentioned, I do have a farming background. I grew up from I'm from a farming family and things like that. And yeah, just really my passion for working with farmers and things like that. That's how the whole concept started. And interesting enough, it's how this whole MEPSA concept came by. It was some few years back, obviously while I was doing one of my entrepreneurship training through the regions and whatnot. I met a very young farmer by the name of Shifotoga. Interesting, yeah. He he got produced. He was like, no, I'm a farmer and this is what I have, and I have some produce that I have. But obviously, if I didn't get a buyer by the end of this week, probably everything that I have might go to waste. So that's how, yeah, then we came to an agreement to say, no, I'm going to offtake everything that you have. Then after that, I obviously came back to Windhoek with the small produce that I got from him. And yeah, I sold out those things in the very same day that I got here. So
Really?
yeah, and it just struck me to say, okay, here this is a business concept, and that's how really just started. How can I help guys or small holder farmer like just this young farmer that I met, and because their situation it's basically the same. They are all going through the same challenges, maybe not at the same level, but they are all going through the same challenges, and that's just how it started to say, okay, I can actually solve this problem, create a sustainable business around it, and yeah, that's how MEPYA came by actually. And obviously, yeah, MEPYA, how we came up with the whole name itself. It's yeah, obviously we just really to have something local, something that people can relate to say, okay, what can we do? We are working with farming community. We just really need to have that Namibian touch in a way to say, okay, like that's how we came up with MEPYA. Okay, obviously MEPYA, for those that are not Oshiwambo speaking, it basically just translate to like a field for cultivating crops, I'll say. So yeah, it's a concept that really resonates with the farmers, and that's how we came up with the whole concept with the name and everything.
Very interesting. So what MEPYA does is you take products of the farmers, the smallholder farmers, and you go sell them for them.
Yeah, initially that's how we started. That's how we started. But obviously now we have obviously grown beyond that. We are now, I would say we are creating communities. And this community, these are community of farmers. And we are saying, yeah, we love what you guys are doing. You have been doing this for the past how many years? But and we love what you're doing. But with the concept that you are creating is we are trying to enhance what you guys are already doing. You focus on the production, then us leave the rest to us. So the whole idea is just really to create that product visibility, to make sure that we are the link between the food buyers as well as the food producers. Where obviously now we're trying to see how can I make sure that a small scale farmer who's somewhere in the Kunene region, how can they sell their produce to someone in Windhoek, for instance, given that Windhoek is our biggest market? How can they do that? So that is now to say, okay, that's how the whole idea came by, and obviously going into that, we have created some tech channel to that. Obviously, one of it is an e-marketplace where farmer will be able to list their product, and people can buy from anywhere, obviously in Namibia. But obviously our concept is more selling to people that resell. We are selling to business mostly because they are the people that are taking up volume in a way. And it's going to help this farming community. We aggregate this community to say, obviously, some people, they can have harvest throughout the year. So obviously now to fill some of those gaps, we group this community. That's why I said our project has always been community based. We want to say, yes, you can produce. You are producing on a 1 hectare. The other person is producing on a 5 hectare. So just bringing this community, it's gonna help us have that sustainable supply and things like that. And that's what we are doing basically. Just to say, transition, we are moving to a digital world, and we are saying obviously farming is one of those sector which is really important to Namibia, but there's not much growth going on. It's still using the traditional method. There's really nothing going on. So we decided to just add some of those tech elements to the whole process.
Okay, like you are now solving the problem like for the Namibian people, like looking at the whole like African continent. Are we facing like the same problem that are other African countries facing the same problem as the one that the Namibian smallholder farmers?
Yeah, I would say I have been to a few African countries. I would say the problems are more or less the same. So they all have an issue of post-harvest losses. That I think that is really one of the biggest challenges that farmers, especially small-scale farmers, are having. Just they produce a certain tonnage, but obviously also a good percentage of that also goes to waste because the fact that they just can't sell to, they don't have enough buyer first and foremost, and so many challenges and things like storage and just the whole distribution. Obviously, it's way costly just to send your stuff to go sell. The cost is more than what you are going to get from this whole process. So really, these are all the challenges that small scale farmers are facing across, I think, sub-Saharan Africa, I'll say. Yeah.
I see. Going back to the e-market, how do people like? Can you just take us through the process of how people actually, how you can list your business, and is there a certain fee that you are as well charged, and how does the whole process work?
No, it doesn't cost anything to register on our platform. For those that are obviously tech savvy, they can just go in, create a profile. Then obviously, as we get a notification, we approve your profile. But obviously, through that, we do have some internal control measure that obviously gonna come once you register, just to make sure that you are. We do have our own vetting process just to make sure that you are really a reliable supplier that you are gonna obviously put in on the platform. And obviously, going back now to technology, technology is really a new element to that. So the communities that are farming, they are really not tech savvy. They are not really into much of this. So what we do is we still go to farming community. We identify specific farmers, and we can just help them. We can help them create profiles, or we can just group them in a community to say this is a community in, for instance, in Okakarara to say we have maybe 20 farmers there. Then we just create a single profile for the whole community to understand. Obviously, when people do make these orders, especially maybe for the large off takers, maybe the formal businesses, they will say, okay, I'm ordering this quantity. And obviously, we just check, okay, no, I think the whole community, they will be able to have this to say, if one farmer is having a ton, and maybe these people want 10 tons, another farmer is having 2 tons, another farmer is having 5 tons. That is really the model that we are using. But obviously, because we know tech, there's still so many challenges just to have a tech platform going. Obviously, people are computer, not tech savvy and things like that. So really, this is now the community that we are taking on a digital transformation. We are doing it together. We say this is a problem and this is our solution. But obviously, this solution, it depends on everyone in the ecosystem. It's not just us. So that is the approach that we are really using.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But then, like, so how are these like smallholder farmers reacting? How have they reacted to the platform? Obviously the one that you have already on the platform, and are there some that you like approach and they were like they wouldn't understand or something? Like, how are they responding to the whole tech?
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, obviously one thing, farmers, they are not really into tech. Obviously, one factor is that most of the people that are farming, they are a little bit an older generation. And just when it comes to tech, how. But obviously, we understand that. We know that you guys, we go to these people, we obviously off-take something because we are still in the distribution aspect. We still off-take from some of these products ourselves. Because we have recently also started adding value on some of these things. Or that is a plan just to expand the market. That's how the plan really to expand the market. And so we go to this community, we introduce the concept, and our community outreach program is really just to go. Some we just go offer training, obviously free training, just how market trends, new farming concept, or just really going there and introducing the whole concept. This is what you're trying to do. And for those that are interested, we form this partnership now because we are leveraging on the model of partnership. And so some people are still like, tech, what is that? I really don't understand. It will always come to that. But obviously, farmers, they need money in their pocket. We go to these communities. If we need a specific crop from them, we buy it from them. And that's just how this whole relationship start, obviously, and or that's how the approach that we are using to build this relationship. It's not just really a matter of we are trying to do this, but we are really involved. We are hands on, and we are also of taking some of these things. Obviously, when we buy something from a farmer, they become part of our community, and obviously that's just how it goes. And yeah, later some people are reaching out to you. No, I got your contacts from this person.
Yeah.
Apparently, you guys are doing ABC, and yeah, it just shows that people are really buying the concept. And for the few farmers that we are already working with, it's working for them. That's why they are giving doing all this referral to other farmers and things like that. And yeah, it's really picking up on that concept. Yeah.
Exactly. Wow. So like I think I don't know if it's only me or the few people that I hang with,
Yeah.
but then like I think people still have that notion that farming it's like it's for the uneducated people, and farming is mostly I think for people in the north. Or like do you think farming like has a market, or is farming like the next big thing? Or
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. Farming. Yeah. People. I do understand
yeah.
how that whole concept came by,
Yeah.
and I really don't blame them.
Mm.
First, there are so many factors that are contributing to that, but obviously one of them is that we never really understood the significance of agriculture itself. Obviously, looking at the states in Namibia, close to over 70% of people, they depend directly and indirectly on the agricultural sector.
Exactly.
It's one of the highest employing sector. It's obviously people need to eat,
Yeah,
and
that's
unfortunately, in our situation as Namibia, our production capacity is very low. Because the food that we eat, we don't produce them, and that's a very
ah,
huge problem. We have
yeah.
seen when Corona came and borders were closed. We have seen how were escalating and things like that. It's due to all these factors. But
Mm.
obviously, coming to people, if they have to look at agriculture and how significant it is to Namibia,
Mm.
they need to start looking it from that angle. That's really how people understand that agriculture is really one of the biggest sector that holds our economy.
Exactly.
If we have to grow this economy, we really need to understand what make our economy tick at the end of the day, and agriculture is one of them. And yeah, people are starting to realize now, but I think it's a bit late.
Yeah.
But also people are starting to realize that stigma is going away. That obviously farming is just for the poor, the
Yeah.
uneducated, this and
Exactly.
that. So they are really are starting to realize that okay, no, this is really one of those sector that we can create so much employment for it,
Mm,
and
yeah.
it's going in that direction. I see a lot of young people are starting to venture into agriculture. I have seen friends that
Mm.
my corporate friends, we're
Yeah.
working together in the bank.
Mm.
Some of them left just to go do farming full
Farming.
time. So I think people are starting to really
See.
understand how significant it is. Obviously, it contributes close to 10% of our GDP, even
Mm.
in the formal market itself. So that's how huge it is. So coming back to your question, I
Mm.
think farming it's one of those things that we really need to make, I think, even compulsory through even school or
School.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's really one of those sectors, mining, agriculture.
Mm. Mm.
That's what make the Namibian economy tick. Yeah,
Exactly. I
people need
see.
to realize that.
That's
The faster the better, I
the
think. For
yeah, but we are
yeah,
not. We are the thing is that we are not realizing it, and
yeah,
I think even me, are also just realizing it in I think earlier this year.
yeah,
But when I spoke to some people that actually like that are not on the African continent,
yeah.
and they're like, we are so much resources in Africa, and farming is one of the sectors that can contribute, like that can solve this unemployment of young people and all that. If we can only make use of our vast land that we have, then the better it will be.
Exactly.
And like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I mean, we import what close to is it more than 60,000 metric tons of food that we import every year, and what our local production just make up around about 5% of total production or the food that we consume. So that's mean all these
Mm.
billions they are actually going out of the country.
Of the
If we start
country.
producing our own food, if we start adding value or on our own food,
Yeah.
produce and things like that, this money can be here. This is the money that is going to create employment for the people. But obviously, every time we are buying these things from outside, we are also importing or exporting our jobs with whatever we are doing at the moment. So yeah, the people needed to look at it from that angle to really realize that we need to act, and the faster we act, the better for the country and for everyone. Yeah.
That's very sure. So, like, okay, websites are business. Obviously, there are challenges that also occur in running a business is easy.
Yeah.
So, what are some of the challenges that you guys have encountered running a business, like with running MEPYA?
Okay. Yeah. Obviously, running a business in general is, yeah, it's there will always be challenges, and obviously with MEPYA, it's really we have outgrown we have grown to a point where we need to obviously to scale, but we have challenges accessing capital to make that possible. Obviously, if you need to scale, you need capital to scale.
Yeah.
And obviously, looking at our Namibian startup ecosystem or the entrepreneurship ecosystem in general, it's not really conducive, or it was never built for startups, business that are coming up, because obviously you need to have collateral, you need to have this and that just to access capital and things like that. Obviously, capital is one of those things.
Yeah.
And obviously, without capital, to prevent you from hiring like the best talent, obviously, we also need talent.
Yeah.
Talent is going to cost you money. And yeah, I think we are also just at the challenge where our capacity is a little bit limited. Our operational capacity, we're at a point where we can't sustain the type of demand that you're getting. We are at that. Those are really just some of the challenges that we are facing right now. So people need that, but our capacity is to understand. And yeah, and that also just proves that the market is there. The concept, people are accepting the concept and everything. So yeah, it capital, I think, just to build that whole capacity that will enable us to serve our purpose and things like that. I think that's one of the biggest challenges right now. And just obviously, yeah, coming back to that, also another challenge might be, yeah, because there's still that divide between the informal and the formal economy. And unfortunately, I think the policy that in existence as we speak, they're also contributing to the stagnant for the informal growth, because majority of small scale farmers, they're still operating in that more of an informal market in a way, and they still just and they are not meeting all these stringent requirements that the formal market wants. So that's also one of those challenges. We are now the guys in the middle trying to connect the two to say, okay, no, this is that and this. Yeah, but obviously it's good for the sector, but it's also a challenge in a way, on its own. Yeah.
Exactly. But obviously, like we have to start
Yeah,
somewhere.
exactly.
And somebody has to address it.
Yeah, exactly.
So the smallholder farmers, most of them, they are not yet formal.
They are not yet formal because of, and there are just so many challenges. I mean, so many requirements. You need to store your produce in what in a cold room, and these are infrastructures that are actually infrastructure. I'll say infrastructure is one of those challenges, because people don't have cold storage, they don't have this and that. If you need to take a produce to, for instance, the bigger retailers, it need to be transported in a certain way. This type of things, these are really just some of those challenges that small scale farmers are facing, on top of so many other challenges that they are facing. But yeah, I think we are getting there. But yeah, it's really just one of those challenges that you really need to tackle heads on. Yeah.
And on the flip side now, like what are the opportunities that are there, or maybe like some of the achievements that you guys, or the success stories that you guys experience?
Okay, I think the success story is that people, I think Namibians also are starting to change in a way, support local and things like that. And it's good for the farmers, at least. People the market is growing slowly by slowly. There's every day I see there's a young person or there's a new company that's coming. maybe some are into value addition, just trying to add value on what the farmers are producing. And that is how the small scale farmers are winning, because now it obviously with also platform like our platform MEPYA itself and so many other players in the market. So just them, that the fact that they'll be able to take up most of this produce from farmers, it means so much to them, because number one, they are going to cut drastically reduce the post-harvest losses that they experience. Now you don't really lose much because most of it is sold out fast and also at a fair price. That's one thing, fair price. Because at the end of the day, the farmers are not realizing they are not really not getting rewarded fairly for their produce at the end of the day, because we say no. But obviously, when the market is there, when there are diversified players or people that are willing to buy from these people, that's how they are going to get fairly compensated for their produce, number one. And they also have access to people that have good capacity. Like when these big retailers start buying from the local farmers, it just really helps everyone. The farmers, their income is going to increase. They'll be able to hire more people also. So more employment, and people that are already there, also their life will be improved in a way. So it have that ripple effect. When you buy something from a farmer, you're not just buying from a farmer, you are doing so much. You are creating employment, you are giving them some sort of income, you are doing so much to them. They'll also be able to improve the infrastructure of their farm, and if they have better infrastructure, that means good harvest and things like that.
That's very true. So now farmers will actually be forced, like smallholder farmers will be forced to kind of formalize their business and also have better infrastructure, and also like just to invest in that as well.
Exactly.
For them to be able to sell bigger and to sell to more clients.
And at a better compensation also at the end of the day. Because now if they have infrastructure, because now, for instance, some people just started. I have really seen farmers where they just started with a small thing, but now we see growth. Now they have a whole tractor that to plow the land. They have good storage facilities, all these type of things. Some are even now, they're also buying their own fleet just to transport the whole thing. It's really good. There are some good success story out there. Some of the farmers, we are obviously working with them, and we have really seen progress. We can see that they are really progressing, and obviously it's just the whole atmosphere is changing. Also, the government is also trying really to push people to buy local produce and things like that. I think it's moving in the right direction.
I see. Like, okay, speaking of that, do you guys only like transport when it comes to like food itself, or you also deal with livestock and?
It's we are an agribusiness, anything agriculture related. So so obviously our capacity is very low now, but obviously as we go, we will able to do everything within the agribusiness ecosystem. So whether it's livestock, whether it's what, obviously, because at the heart of it, we are an agri-tech, we're an agricultural technology company. So we'll obviously be developing different tech solution and things like that. But in essence, we are doing everything.
Okay. I want to know now the landscape of farmers in Namibia. Like who are the people that are in the agri-business sector, mostly like in Namibia? Like who are the people that are there?
Okay, the people in terms of
in terms of how do I put it now? Like who are the people that are dominating?
Okay, I would say in terms of farming, it's mostly the older generation. More older people, young people are still not into agriculture, obviously due to so many factors, but they are just starting to enter the space, but it's mostly the elder generation. In us more in rural area, it's mostly women that are more at the
Really?
yeah. It's mostly women doing most of
The farm.
the farming and whatnot. And yeah, and obviously the formal market is more white dominated. I think it's close to close over 90% of all formal
Farming, yeah.
for commercial farmers,
Mm.
they are mostly whites. Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
So it's mostly the white, and these are the people now that are just um, selling to most of these big players, and that's where now, and obviously this whole thing, what we are doing is we are kind of disrupting what was already there. You understand? Because
Oh.
there's still a lot of gatekeeping going on. If you look
Oh,
at that,
really?
there are still a community that are preventing. Yeah, some of these things are actually by, unfortunately, they are by design. So it's just like that, where small scale farmers, they are kept out of that ecosystem in a way, because, but it's good. What is there is still working, and our platform is just trying to enhance what is already working. The informal market is unfortunately also doing great on its own. It's just that it's fragmented. There's no organization. It's a little bit disorganized in a
Yeah,
way.
they're just on their own.
Yeah, that's why now, with obviously with our platform, we are
Yeah.
trying to add some order to that whole ecosystem, because it's working. We have done a survey on household, and we've realized that uh, over 70% of household, they still buy their fresh produce from the informal markets. You understand? And unbelievable. So people, the market is there. It's just disorganized. Obviously, for them now to start entering the formal market, just to, obviously, because there it offer them a chance to get compensated well compared to what is already there. But yeah, it's going in that direction now. Yeah.
Now, actually, now, like, why do you think mostly, okay, you guys obviously did surveys, but then what do you think is, why is it mostly women in the informal settlement that are into farming? Is it because of the community itself or the tradition?
Yeah, no, I think it goes way back. Even, I think, even culture and things like it has something to do with it also contribute to some of these things. And yeah, just how our economy function. Obviously now, even talking back, uh let me take you to the north, for instance. Obviously, back in the days, there used to be contract, what this contract system where men go, you work or south of the red line and things like that. And when they can go up to 2 to 3 years without going back home. And obviously, who is there? It's women. I think that whole thing, it just started there. But yeah, I think in most culture, in most, looking at now Namibian tribes, looking at it, especially in the rural areas, it's mostly women that do farming, and it's very much like that up to now. Yeah. So, and also coming back to the people that are selling within the informal market itself, it's mostly women and youth, and that are still dominating in that space. And yeah, so we just need to really come up with different innovations, different support program that can uplift these people and really add value to what they're already doing. Yeah.
I see. Speaking of the red line, well, like, what is the impact of the red line on the farmers that are at the other side? Are you guys able to transport agricultural products such as meat and all this to this side, or how do you?
With meat, it's still, you still need to comply with the veterinary requirements and guidelines that are still in place. And yeah, I think things are starting to improve just now, because obviously people are trying to create new market, like obviously with Ghana and other African markets, and even China now. I think people are really trying to see how can both farmers on north of the red line, how they can also tap into some of these initiatives. And but obviously, coming to crops, yeah, crops, you can distribute it throughout the country. It doesn't have really guidelines. Only now livestock and meat and things like that. But yeah, the red line, it was done by design. As I mentioned earlier, up to now, it's still our commercial farming or commercial agricultural ecosystem is still dominated by white people.
Yeah.
And these are the people that have been, obviously, they all farm south of the red line. And obviously, most of their produce, they also import to European markets and things like that. So all these things that have been there, the guideline is really what is preventing what the the farmers from the other side of the red line not to tap into this. And as I said earlier, there's still a lot of gatekeeping going on and still like that. So, but unfortunately, we can't be stuck in the past. And whether we want it or not, that conversation is going slowly, and eventually it's gonna fall at some point. It might be now, it might be in the future, but eventually it's gonna fall because it's not. There won't be excuses can't be there forever. So yeah, at the end of the day.
That's true. But then, like, if now we remove like the red line, is it going to cause? Is it going to bring some advantage into the farming, into the agricultural sector? Or is it going to disrupt it? Okay, like in your view now.
Okay, because with the red line, it's mostly okay. People are saying, yeah, the especially when it comes to beef, those European market, they have certain standards and what, and there are some foot and mouth disease and all these things. Obviously, people just have to come up with some control measure on how they are going to make sure that how can everyone benefit and how can we also control especially the issue of diseases, livestock diseases and things like that.
Okay, now what are the future plans for MEPSA, and are there any like future opportunities or like initiatives that you guys are working on, and expansion strategies as well?
Yeah, no, obviously the future plan, we just really want to scale across the country first before we can but obviously we're also looking at some other markets because ideally the plan is we really want to create that market accessibility for farmers, and by saying so, we are not just limiting ourselves to Namibia. We have obviously future. We want to see that Namibian produce are being exported to other markets, and we are obviously going that direction. And obviously with the new initiative like the new African free trade and all these things, these are some of the things really we want to leverage on and things like that going in the future. And we really want to set up operation in more farming communities in Namibia, just to make sure that we are really that connected, and we are making sure that the problem that they are trying to solve, we are at least doing that, and also just creating more opportunity for everyone involved at the end of the day. And create more employment opportunity for the people. And those are really our future plans. But looking at, we have some exciting opportunities coming up, I think. And it's only that I wish I could share them now because they're not concluded yet. But it's really one of those things that are really going to, it's gonna be a win for us. But when we do get the information, it's gonna come out. Yeah, and we have also started working with the World Food Program. We even went to attend an expo in DRC. We went with WFP. We were like around about 10 startups from Namibia. MEPYA was one of that, and and our initiative was actually recognized in the DRC by at the regional level, at the SADC level. We were like 20 startups that WFP have identified that we might just to have some sort of collaboration in the very near future. And they say that our platform is one of those platforms that really have the potential to create, to help rural-based farmers and things like that. So it's really one of those win for us, and some of those interesting partnerships that are coming up from like WFP and also just GIZ, Farming for Resilience. We have also done a project. They have they give us a small grant just to help with our e-marketplace because they see the value in it as well. So yeah, those are some of the partnership or interesting collaborations that are pending as we speak. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So, like for now, the people that are like interested or looking into venturing into farming,
Yeah.
are there like any resources like within the country that can actually like help them, or like opportunities that are there available like to guide them, such as mentorship,
Yeah.
or such as programs and all that?
Yeah. I think even with the Minister of Agriculture itself, there are specific services that they offer to farmers, and I think some of these they are free of charge. Just things like even you just want to test the soil where you are farming, just to see what sort of crops might be suitable for that. You can, the Minister of Agriculture can offer such services, I think, for free to farmers. You just need to take the samples, they test it for you and things like that. And yeah, organizations like GIZ, they have Farming for Resilience Initiative. It's also one of those platforms that also help farmers. And yeah, World Food Program, Namibia is also, they also have a few opportunities that can help farmers as well. And yeah, if you really want to venture into farming, just do it. Don't keep postponing it just to say, no, I'll start next year. Just start now, start small. Obviously, you should dream big, but just start small. Sometimes we really want to, we don't want to start small because obviously starting small, that's how we are going to learn. That's how we are going to build capacity. And at the end of the day, even if you have a 10-hectare land, just start farming on a 1 hectare. See how that goes. Then obviously, if you go, next year you're gonna farm on a 2 hectare. Later you are farming on a 10 hectare. Just start small, and opportunities are out there. Even the Minister of Lands, they always have. They always advertise these resettlement farmers. If you do have maybe some few livestock, or you really want to venture into, look at some of those opportunities. Apply for the land, and you might get it. You never know. People just have hope. Do your thing. You never know what will come out of that. Yeah.
That's interesting. So, like, okay, can you like convince someone, like, okay, you can look in which camera, this camera, like, why should like young people consider farming as an option as well? Like, why is farming actually like important? Or is it like,
okay, they say if you can't feed yourself, then you are in a very big trouble. So I think you really need to start looking it from that angle. If you can't produce your own food, you are in danger. Secondly, I think the time has come where we need to start looking at ourselves and asking ourselves some questions. Why do we still think that farming is for the poor, the uneducated, while we have people that are making millions from farming? So we really need to just change our mindset and do things that can help us improve. At the end of the day, food will always be, whether you want it or not, whether there's war, whether there's drought, whether there's what, people still, they're going to eat. And if you can't produce your own food, you are in very much trouble. So that's all I can say. Everyone, you can reflect. Unfortunately, you can't force someone to do something, but start asking yourself those questions. Your own conscience gonna convince you to start looking at farming or agriculture from a different perspective. Yeah, that's all I can say. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Matthew. So thank you so much, Festus.
Yeah.
So how can people reach out to you if people are looking into getting in contact with you for partnership? So how can people?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. We have a digital presence. You can reach out us on all social media platforms. That's for Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, at MEPYA. If you search MEPYA, I'm sure you'll be able to find us. Or you can go to our website, which is mepya.com, or you can contact us via our contact. We also do have a WhatsApp community that is really doing great with different farmers and different buyers and things like that. So contact details is that can be 081 38 09 302 or 085 3809 302. But social media is the easiest way you can find us, I would say. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. So is there anything else that I've left out that maybe you want to answer, so you want to talk about?
Okay. No, I think we have addressed pretty much everything, but I just want to say that we look at we don't look at people as our competitor. We look at people as our partner. As I said, our approach is always community oriented, and we feel like we partner with people. They are not our competitors. They are not this. They are not that. We partner with everyone that see the value of in the agribusiness itself, or in the agri chain value, or anything like that. Yeah. So anyone want to partner with us, this can be a farmer, this can be a reseller, this can be a distributor. We are open for sort of partnership, and that's how we're actually going to do it. And I'll say that's why our white Namibians are very successful at farming, because they leverage on partnering and collaborating with each other. So you find that a specific retailer is owned by a community of farmers.
Really?
You find a butchery is owned by different farmers. You find so just looking at that model, they are successful like that because that's how they are. Even there is interesting enough that there's a new meat processor that is coming up. It's going to be I think the biggest competitor to the national to Meatco.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's own. Guess who are the owners?
Who are the owners?
Over 500 farmers. They came together. They raised over, I think, close to 200 million to build all this. So you can just see, it's not me. Let me sell my thing. It's them coming together as a community, and they see the value in that, and it's benefiting everyone at the end of the day.
Wow.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. There's actually a proverb that says, you want to go far, you get like, if you want to go fast, you go alone.
Exactly.
But if you want to go far, you can go together.
Exactly.
And that's actually proves it. So and I think we are also looking in that, in collaboration and working together as Namibians.
I wish I can connect with other people in the agribusiness chain all over Africa, not just in Namibia, because for me, our business is African oriented. We want to work with different people from different African countries. Yeah, definitely.
That's the main goal. So yeah, thank you so much.
No, thank you. It's a pleasure.
As you have heard it from Festus Malakia, that collaboration and partnership is the way forward, and let's learn to embrace our own agricultural sector and start growing our own food. So thank you so much for watching this episode up until the end. And if you have not yet already, please hit that subscribe button and also turn on the notification button for you to be notified whenever we post another educational and inspiring episode such as this. And see you next time. My name is Elizabeth Chilume, and please don't forget to also follow us on our social media platform on Instagram and TikTok as well, Henok TV. See you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.